ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between.
He's a South Texan poppy poet living that hashtag middle-class gay life. It's Chibbi.
She's a little bit Selena, a little bit J-Lo, and a whole lot of Pisces. It's Raqui.
And this is Words and Shit,
the show where you get to know the person behind the poetry.
Brought to you by Write Art Out.
Hey, Raqui.
Hi, friend. How you doing?
Ooh, you know what? We're good. We're good. Let's just put it at that, right?
Yes.
There's a lot happening. It's the start of a school year.
Yes.
I know you know.
I know. Definitely. I'm very well aware about this new school year life and what does it look like to be still in a pandemic and have people act like we're not.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that today. That's not what we're going to talk about. What I want to talk about is friendship.
It's the best type of conversations that I love to talk about. Friendship. Yeah. I'm so glad. For those who don't know, like I asked Chibbi, like, please, as a friend, do not bring up work.
As a friend, we're not going to talk about your work life right now. But you and I have been friends for a number of years now, right? Yeah. Coming up in the San Antonio community, specifically the San Antonio poetry community, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that, like, honestly, this is one of my favorite things about the poetry community is the friendships that you form in and throughout it, right? Because that's how I met you, and we've remained friends since then. Some of my best friends now are people that I met through poetry, and whether they're active in poetry or not, it is, like a friendship that has sustained through the ages, like I'm curious, what are your thoughts on poetry friendships?
Oh, I mean, like, we have poetry friendships. If you want to go down into the chisme, there's like poetry lovers too, right? I feel like you are sharing so many intimate information about your life or your poetry, and how can you not crush either on a friendship level or on like this admiration or in this like loving level for these poets, right? So I think it's so easy to find friendships within this, and the poetry community, whether through poets or people who admire poetry, I've grown so much from there. And like I said, I've had lovers, I've had exes, I've had really great friends, and even more, right, because of poetry. So
you bring up such a interesting point. Is like, as poets, like we put ourselves out there in a very vulnerable way, right? Yeah. And so people are immediately tuned in to some of the most intimate aspects of our life, right? And that draws people together. But then the beautiful thing is, like, when you actually get to know the person. Oh, wait, I'm going to quote my own tagline here. Get to know the person behind the poetry. And then, like, the person is even more magical, right? Okay. I think those are some of the strongest friendships that we've fostered throughout the years, and that continue to blossom and burgeon and do amazing things.
I know, because in my mind, I'm like, how can you not crush on Chibbi? Look at Chibbi. Look at you. Look at your words. Yes. I have been admiring you. I've been hearing so much about you, and I'm so glad we're friends. That we might actually have a surprise, because of our friendship.
Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe at the end of the show. Okay. Awkward teenager Chibbi that never learned how to embrace that people actually are attracted to him is dying a little bit on the inside. I'm just but all this talk about friendship, because today on our show we have not one, but two incredible guests who just happen to be like best friends. And I'm curious to dive into the origin story of all of that. We'll get there in a moment. But right now, I want to bring on our guests, Sam Herschel Wein. They is a Chicago-based poet who specializes in perpetual frolicking. My life. He is an MFA candidate in poetry at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Their second chapbook, GESUNDHEIT, a collaboration with Chen Chen, was part of the 2019-2020 class Poetry Press series. And he co-founded and edits Underblong. Chen Chen is the author of the forthcoming poetry collection, Your Emergency Contact Has Experienced an Emergency, and the forthcoming book of essays, In Cahoots with the Rabbit God. His debut book of poems, When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a List of Further Possibilities, was longlisted for the National Book Award and won the Thom Gunn Award, among other honors. He teaches at, I'm going to mess this up, Brandeis University? I should have asked for pronunciation beforehand. In any case, y'all in the comment section, show some love and help us welcome Sam and Chen to the broadcast. Hey, y'all.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, Sam, you are so hella muted right now.
Hello.
Hi.
I was like, where's Sam's voice?
That introduction was amazing. Hear you two talk about friendship.
Oh my goodness. I was going to say, like, see, how can you not be like, poets are so cute. I really do think so. And it's just like, y'all are adorable. Look at these outfits. I love this accessories and everything. Like, how can we not just gush over each other?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're just over here living our best lives as poets and as people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so thank you for coming. I really, we really appreciate it. And it's so great to like have two great friends on our episode today. And like I always try to say, like, since we're gonna get to know you intimately and you're gonna become our friends for the next hour or so, I always like to start off with, how's your heart? How's your heart today? It could be this year, this month, your season. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
You can't cry.
Just jumping right in.
Yes.
We're getting real right away. Our hearts.
I mean, I moved to Tennessee 2 weeks ago today to start my MFA program. And I am adjusting to the big life change of leaving my longtime Chicago life. And it's a big adjustment. And also I'm like going to this MFA program that's supposedly fully in person, and the vaccination rates in Tennessee are very low, and we're just beginning. Tomorrow is the first day of class. So I'm feeling frazzled, excited, but also like I want to just be excited. And I also know that there's something lurking that's really hard. And I'm excited to be with Chen because we've been so busy. We haven't gotten to like spend much time together.
No.
So I'm excited to have some friendship time in front of the world, you know?
Other people. Oh my God. I'm so proud of you, Sam. Yeah, for this next chapter. I've also just been reflecting a lot on our friendship this week, I guess, anticipating being on this show together. And yeah, there's just a lot to process right now. We're sort of in like another era of our friendship as well. But it's a whole other era in the world too.
Valid.
Apocalyptic one. So, but I'm glad to be spending this particular apocalypse with you. Yeah, it's really special. My heart. What have I been doing? I've been traveling again, which has been so strange. Both for work and seeing friends again that I haven't seen since like 2019, which is kind of absurd. And so I think I'm still like recovering from that fact of it. I just saw a good friend in Dallas, in Texas, actually. And it was so much fun, but it was so surreal at the same time to be like somewhere else and to be in airports, to be on a plane again. And yeah, now gearing up to teach this fall semester. And that's going to be really interesting to see how that unfolds. So yeah, I'm just discombobulated. I mean, that's my perpetual state anyway, but extremely discombobulated, let's say, at the moment. Yeah.
I think that's so valid too. And this feeling of just a little disjointed. Like I know every time I go to like an in-person open mic or something like that, I'm like, we're here, but also we're here. And just navigating.
Breath in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Navigating the re-entry into society or whatever this new reality is that we're about to embark on.
Who knows these days, you know?
It's wild because so I actually work at a community college here in CUNY for New York, and we are just all over the place. So I can just imagine as faculty and as students how y'all are feeling, because as a staff member,
we weren't going to talk about work, Raquel.
Let's put it away. We don't need to.
Our lives are bigger
into the box.
Trying to. Yeah.
Well, we want to start off. We always start off our segments after our little check-in with a game we like to call speed dating before we jump into the poetry and into the conversation. So essentially, we're going to ask y'all a series of questions, and we're going to ask the same questions of both of y'all. And feel free to answer as in-depthly or as concisely as you feel is necessary for your answer.
I feel like Sam's going to be way more in-depth.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. So, first question. I'm inspired by the necklace and the earrings and all the things. What is your favorite must-have, will always wear accessory? Who wants to go first?
I'm embarrassed because I'm not wearing it. I mean, usually I do like a intense lipstick, and I had toast right before, and I forgot to put it on, and I had
a bunch of toast. Hard to bounce back from that.
But usually, I mean, that's not really an accessory.
No, it so is. Makeup is an accessory.
I mean,
yes,
usually
it is.
It's the lip. And
what lip color?
Put it on halfway, and everyone can have a moment.
Which lip color Chen wants to know?
I was gonna do the theme for Chen and I's outfit today was like a pink touch, so I was gonna do it. I had a pink,
Yeah.
But a deep red is usually actually a light red, like a red pink in between. That's my fave. And then periwinkle when I'm feeling,
scandalous.
Oh.
Chen, what about you?
I'd say these pearls. Now,
yes.
I just really love them, but I'm obsessed. I'm just gonna wear them on everything, no matter how formal the outfit is, because this is a weird tie-dye situation. I'm just wearing pearls on top of it. But that's what I'm into right now. I had this necklace that was very simple. It was a $15 necklace. Just simple little chain, and it was just black in the center. And I lost it.
Oh.
So I'm I could probably find another one pretty easily of that style because it was very simple, but I'm still mourning it. I still have to I'm a Pisces. I have to go through the full mourning process of the necklace.
Wait, I have another answer.
Yeah.
I also have this sword earring that's a little sword moment. I actually have two. I have a knife earring too, and I wear them both a lot.
The cleaver earring.
Cleaver, gifted to me from Chen. And I only have one ear pierce, so wearing a dangling, that's what I should have answered.
There we go. I love
big dangly earring. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
a chandelier.
Truly.
Chandelier.
I did the eyeball today because it was pink, but usually I have a flowy moment happening here.
Oh, that's so cute. All right. So my question is, what brings you joy, and what do you need to let go to give you more joy in your life?
Raquel, so good.
That's not a speed dating question. I just want to clarify.
Not at all.
full-length date.
Buy a bitch a drink first. Oh.
I'm gonna answer first again because I have an answer and I'm ready. I just, I know that this is the theme of the day, but the thing that does bring me the most joy is friendship. And I've lived my life that way for a lot of years. Like, I've devoted all of my time and energy to my friends. I built an incredible community around myself in Chicago. And I just like gallivant and eat ice cream and lollygag and frolic. And I'm always like doing a bunch of shit with a bunch of friends, which I think for me made the pandemic really hard, because that was sort of like having big community things was sort of like what I always invested in and put all my time into. And the pandemic made us all like then separated in these little pods. And I just felt so disjointed for the last few years, and it's been very weird. Yeah. What can I do to bring more joy? Probably like say no to more things that are not about friendship so that I can have more time for friendship.
That's cute. Love that.
I love that answer. I'm going to say something radically comically different, which is television. Makes me joy. I love TV so much. Everyone's been talking about how much more TV they watched during the pandemic, but for me, it's like, okay, it's just like a little bit more than what I was watching before. This is a lot of TV. And most recently, or currently, been watching with my partner, The Great Pottery Throwdown, which is like The Great British Bake Off, but with ceramics.
I've watched
Wow.
that.
It's a similar principle, because they have to carefully, combine their ingredients, their materials, and then it goes in the kiln, which is like an oven, right? It like bakes, and there's like this alchemy that happens, this magic that happens, and then it comes out, and maybe it explodes. We also talk a lot about the bottom of pots. If you've watched Great British Bake Off, right? They talk a lot about soggy bottoms. So the parallels are just beautiful. You've seen the other show. So that's what I'm obsessed with right now, and it brings me a lot of joy. I have to thank Mag, my friend in Dallas, for introducing me to the show. We started watching it when I was there. Now I'm watching it with my partner. So
I definitely told you about that show also.
I don't remember.
I did. I know that I did.
Well, twice, the recommendation.
This conversation is bringing me so much joy right now.
I know, it really is.
So
Okay.
what can I do to bring more joy? I guess, I could say make more time for television, but I already I probably need to make less time for television. So I was going to say, echoing Sam's answer, just saying no to more things. This has been an ongoing conversation we've had in our friendship. Oh, I need to say no to more work in particular.
Valid. Boundary setting.
Boundary setting. Yeah.
Next question, and I asked this of all our guests.
Yes.
What is your favorite food dish to eat?
Beautiful question.
One?
I love
Sam, are you a Gemini?
No.
Okay.
Scorpio.
Oh wow, we're
We're
just
both water signs. Yeah.
wow.
But this is just who I am. I'm just
You just want it all.
I have a Gemini mom. I feel like having a Gemini mom.
You grew up in a Gemini culture.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a Scorpio mom.
Yes. I have a Scorpio mom too, and I'm a Pisces, so I'm loving
Oh
both of
my God, I love
this.
Pisces.
There's a lot
One
happening
dish.
right now.
This is hard. I love food deeply. It's like all Chen. Sometimes there will be weeks where Chen and I will talk about food and nothing else.
Mhm.
Like weeks, I do make really good challah, Adrian. Thank you for that
I
comment.
need
Wow.
your challah. I have yet to.
You haven't had my challah. It's very good. Well, it's because my mom is like the best challah maker, and I've inherited her. Anyway. Oh, God. Favorite food. Actually, Chen, you go first.
Oh, I go first. Okay. I'll say one of my favorite like summertime dishes. So I'll narrow it down in that way because I also have trouble just picking one. But it's this like dessert sort of snack, and it's this like chilled soup. It's a Chinese dish called 绿豆汤, which is made of mung beans. And you chill it, and you can add sugar or honey is really good in it too. And it just takes me back to summers growing up, and also going back to China and seeing relatives. And in the summertime, like street vendors will sell it, and it just like feels like summer to me.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
I'm like, food break.
I know.
Feels really homophobic because there's too many foods that I love. But oh God, I don't know what to say.
We love a good homophobic food.
Oh, I do love a good homophobic food.
How about, what's been your favorite thing since you've arrived in Tennessee?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
And it's even hard to narrow that down.
I think I'm just so new here. I've like been trying some places and I'm like not sure if I've found my like spots yet. I did find this bagel place that had like the best lox and bagel sandwich I've had in a really long time, which was very confusing because I was like, I'm not in New York. But it was this cacio e pepe bagel, which is like pepper and Parmesan. And it was so tasty. And the lox was so fresh. And their chive cream cheese, they made themselves. It was so good. Okay, wow, that's my answer right now.
As you spoke it, it was.
I love it. I love it. It is true in the moment. Own it.
Sounds so
no
good.
regrets.
I know. I'm just my mouth right now. All right.
Raquel is in New York, so she might go get a bagel after this.
I know. That's what I was like. Oh, I want to get some with like chives or scallion. That's actually my favorite smear, like cream cheese to put on it. Oh. All right. The last speed dating question. All right. If your younger self could see you today, what would they be most proud of?
Wow. I think, first of all, we need to have a conversation about the idea of speed dating.
Doesn't seem right.
I'm feeling like a disconnect between the term that I was told and the question.
This is all her fault.
It is.
He knows the way this works.
As a fellow Pisces, I would ask all of these questions on a first date.
Yeah, they are. Exactly.
So
That's
yeah,
true.
I understand.
One time, Chen and I were just like hanging out, sitting around, and then he was like, turned to me. We were really chilling, and he was like, "Do you believe in the afterlife?"
These are questions we need to know. Okay.
I feel like you haven't really answered it yet. I'm going to keep asking you, especially when we're having a chill time.
We're moving on from that. I think, this is something that Chen and I did talk about sort of recently about, I feel like Chen said this really beautiful thing. I'm just going to quote you right in front of you. But he said this really beautiful thing where like when you're a young gay kid, you have to like just stare at something a lot and just like process a lot because you're like different and you realize you're different, but you don't understand why. And you feel like you don't fit, but you like just like are trying to figure this out. And so you just are like this, like I have so many moments in my childhood where I was just like in a basement for hours, just being like, what am I? Who am I? What is this? And like trying to understand like this weird difference that I had. And so I feel like my childhood was kind of like confusing and sad. And I don't remember a lot of it because I feel like I was just like, whoa, I'm off. I'm off from everyone around me. And I don't know why, but something feels wrong. So I think just getting older and allowing myself to like really do the things that I want. And like seeing in my, biological family, like getting a lot of shit a lot for like not doing the things I'm supposed to do. And really having a lot of like clashes with our culture that are like, there is a path and you are supposed to be on it. And when you really deviate from that, you feel like terrified and like you're fucking up and also like lost and like there's no maps laid out in front of you. But I've allowed myself to do that and to like live a queer life and try to really not do things the way that people have told me to. And that to me feels like my biggest win.
Sam, I love the direction you took that response in so much. But to bring it back to television, but it's going to be connected. Because you just made me think of, so I've been watching the second season of Love, Victor. There's a second season somehow of the show. It's not very good. It's like a piece of media. But
Love Victor?
Love Victor. Yeah, it's a show.
I mean, I'm with you on this, okay? I'm with you on
this. It's so emotional. The second season is super emotional because it's all about how his mom in particular is not accepting of him after he's come out. And so many of the messed up things she says and does to him, I have like extreme flashbacks. And I'm watching this with my partner and we have to like pause every like 10 minutes because I have to go on a rant about something that happened to me and a conversation, like a fucked up conversation I had with my mom. So it just all came like flooding back. So just thinking about that, and as like a younger self, you know, like so often I had to settle for subtext, right? Like queer subtext, or like basically pretending that a character is queer and being like, yeah, it works. And like filling in all this like story, right? That was usually missing. And I feel like now as a writer, I get to, you know, actually make queer text, not just have to settle for subtext all the time, and explore so much more, and getting to like create, right, your own world really out of that. And I think like that's a huge part of our collaborations, Sam, is really like out of that wish, out of that longing, right, to create something that really didn't exist before.
Wow, both of our answers were so good.
We are so in our feels so early in this conversation, but I am here for it. And you both have created just really incredible, rich queer worlds in your bodies of work that I have been binging on recently and living for. So with that, we're going to close the chapter on speed dating and really get to know each other. Can you please start us off each with a poem, and then we will jump into conversation. Who wants to go first?
Speed writer. I'm going to go first. Also, LOL, that was just the speed dating portion, and we got into so much already.
Deep dive. Yeah, the questions are beautiful. Thank you.
So beautiful. We were going to start off reading from our collaborative chapbook, GESUNDHEIT, now available from Glass Poetry. It's a chapbook that we worked on together, and we both wrote a poem in it called Friendship, and we decided that we were both going to read our friendship poems. This is also inspired because someone like tweeted something really nice about my friendship poem recently, and like I cried a lot, and I like forget that my poems are in the world sometimes. So thanks to people who read things and post about it online. Friendship, for Chen and for Anya. I'm tired of my friends collecting, coupled, and not calling me anymore to get French fries. I'm tired of curled fingers on old telephone cords, people I used to sit on the floor with no longer around, conversation stiff, pelvis wrapping in legs. Queers mass shot in a nightclub, and none of them show up with pickles, mail me a fruit basket, or a yo-yo. I think straight people really believe that their partners become the only friends they ever need. I think queer people mimic the straights, so I don't become stuck in a fog storm. No flashlights to illuminate beyond their front windshields. Maybe friendship is incessant game of hungry, hungry hippos. Vary in how many pellets we get, but I'll spit up what we can to help each other from starving. Maybe I'm tired of losing those I once held under unwashed sheets. I think friendship is supposed to be love unabound and without paint on the walls. I tell my man I'll see him next week after margaritas and a crying session with Mia across the street. I'm desperate for no one held up with arm floaties. I want us bottom sunk where the chlorine is thick. I'm bored with friends I stopped hearing from until they've broken up. I'm out flying kites for every one of their dumped-ass crying phone calls. I'm eating bok choy at the farmer's market. I smile with so much green in my teeth.
I love your writing so much.
Oh my gosh, stop.
I always remember the bok choy image at the end of that poem. It's so like surprising and gorgeous that I forget that there's a yo-yo in that poem as well. I'm like, wait a moment.
No one has ever mailed me a yo-yo, still to this day.
I will one day. One day soon. So to continue on that vibe, this is friendship for Sam. Friendship is a mean curl of moon coming at you in rollerblades. Let our pelvises listen to friendship's bright crisscrossing of night and terrible futons too many miles apart. Let our pelvises be wrapped in a gleaming blanket made by celestial collaboration, the sun lending itself to the moon's face. Friendship is a face rollerblading and wearing short shorts and handing out hot dogs in the midst of spiky roaches, leaky rooms. Friendship waits till everyone has a hot dog and is ready before putting on their own rollerblades. Like, forgot that line was in there. Friendship's hot dogs are indeed the moon's hot dogs and don't taste all that great. But friendship doesn't expect you to take every bite to finish. Friendship wants you to have what it can make, what it is trying to make, with its small moon hands, its crescent hands crisscrossing the night in our cities swollen with dream. Friendship travels at the speed of heat and one bite of mustard-dripping hot dog. Friendship travels at the speed of a favorite music video never loading on Safari while we wait and wait. Friendship is the crashed browser, the honey of not going to bed at bedtime. We are busy listening to friendship in the softest part of our pelvises.
Wow.
Chen!
Wow.
Raquel was not ready for these poems. The Pisces that is Raquel was not ready for these poems.
I'm already crying.
Let's
never put those together.
Huh?
Wow. So beautiful. Thank you so much for both of y'all like sharing your words and just what friendship means to you. And wow. I just need like a second. All right, cool. Again, we're still on this theme of friendship. So I want to kind of delve into it. How did you get to like, what is the story between both y'all, and how do the history between Sam and y'all and Chen, and how did y'all meet and become such good friends? And then this whole collaboration of GESUNDHEIT.
This story.
Inquiring minds want to know.
It is quite the tale.
It's like not a low-key tale,
It's a high-key friendship story. We met at this writing retreat, but it was.
Well, Chen was in his MFA at Syracuse.
I was in the middle of my MFA, yeah.
And I had just graduated college like a week before.
Oh. Such a baby writer.
I didn't even know I was a writer. I was like, I studied anthropology. And I got into this writer's workshop that I was like, oh, cool. I like got into a thing. I'll go. And I got there and everyone was like a very serious writer. And I was like, I don't know anything about the writing world.
Do you remember we had to submit a video application?
I do.
Isn't that so weird?
So
I remember typing out a script and very woodenly staring at my camera. Like it was like a hostage situation, reading out like a ransom letter. That's what it felt like. But then I was there also. It was at the
classic Sam and Chen fashion. I wrote nothing to prepare for that video and just got on the video and talked with no preparation.
Yeah, you were just you.
Unabashedly.
Unabashedly, but most assuredly you.
Yeah. I was there for nonfiction, and I remember I met all the poets, and they were like, listen, you are a poet. Don't get out of nonfiction. What are you doing over there? Come over here. And they
also your nonfiction cohort was kind of like, what? What are you turning in? It was so lyrical.
It was very lyrical.
You're writing poetry. Yeah.
I was writing. I remember my workshop leader was like, Sam, I really love what you're writing, but it doesn't feel like nonfiction to me.
Wow.
Straight up. Yeah.
She said that to me in the middle of the group. And I met Chen there. And it was a very weird week. It was a week-long writing workshop. And it was like Jewish American themed, but like not necessarily needing to be Jewish, but pretty much everyone was Jewish except.
But I was the only non-Jew. I thought there were going to be others, and then I'm like, is this wrong? Is this problematic? And it felt like a long time.
A whole 7 days, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
And
early mornings.
Yeah, we had to start at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was all day, every day. And yeah, we just sort of like, you didn't really talk to anyone, but somehow you and I kind of like clicked.
I usually don't talk to anybody.
Until you met me, and then you learned that talking was great.
I'm seeing this, really. I'm realizing this, that people have to be very persistent to be my friend. They have to like keep talking to me. And then I'm like, okay, fine, we'll like do an activity.
And after that week, we started talking on the phone for like 4 to 6 hours a week, which was not casual.
Mm-hmm.
But we just kind of were like, I mean, Chen was like teaching me about the poetry world and like was really excited about my writing in a way no one else had ever been. And also we were like talking about friendship and our lives, and we just started talking on the phone a lot. And then you visited Chicago really shortly, like that same summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we met at Dyke March and took a picture together.
It took me 2 hours to get there, or maybe 4 hours, because I had to take like 2 buses and a train to get to Dyke March. Yeah.
We weren't ready for Chicago. I biked there. It took me like 20 minutes. And we just really like hit it off, and we started. I remember you came to visit me and you helped me put together my first packet of poems to send out. And we like had a lot of conversations about like what it means to be queer and to be connected to people. And I feel like we like learned a lot about friendship being together.
Yeah, you taught me so much about like how to be a friend and actually like respond to texts and, you know, pick up when you call on FaceTime. Because I was not doing that before.
The little things.
Yeah.
It was like
little major necessary friendship steps. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny because at the beginning, you know, we talked so much, and I feel like we did like exchange a lot of knowledge. Like you were giving me a lot about poetry, and I was like giving you a lot about like how to be a person that's friendly and like that other people want to be around.
Well, I realized, I knew that I was passionate about poetry, but I felt like I hadn't really found community yet. Like really like deep community. And to do that through poetry was such a joy. And I feel like, you really taught me how to do that. And I've, continued with that approach. Yeah. So.
And I feel like for me, I like knew a lot about building community, but I had no idea how to do it in areas that I cared about. You know, like I just was doing, like, not that I cared about, but I like was like so community oriented that I never stopped to think, like, what do I like? What do I love? How do I also put in time and energy for that on top of just like supporting all the people around me and connecting with people, which is something that just I did so naturally. So I think you helped me realize that like what I love more than anything is poetry, and that I was allowed to like invest in that for myself to be happy.
You made me realize, as much as I hate people, I can't write alone.
Yeah.
I really can't. I need conversation. I need the joy that's generated by, being with other people who are not me. Be clear. Other people, other minds, other imaginations. It's so important.
I will say too, like so many of the poems that I've written in my life, if not like more than half of them, are from conversations that we've had together.
Yeah, so many of mine too. Yeah. I mean, so many lines, titles, just little snippets of things from our conversations make their way into my poems all the time.
So true and so valid, you know, to like have to be in like communion with others and with the world around you in order to like do something so solitary as writing. So God, what an odyssey. Okay, and I'm gonna process that, store it. Next, so then we fast forward to many years later, and GESUNDHEIT. GESUNDHEIT. Talk to us a little bit about like how did this collection come about? You know, what was the process of putting it together? You know, like why? I mean, the why is obvious, but
do we know why? I don't know if we know why. So. But first of all, I feel like I must mention the original title of this project, which was "Scars of My Neighborhood."
Oh no!
Different. But it was that title for a long time,
like a little too long.
The original title or original name for Underblong was. Should we reveal this information?
Yes.
The original title for Underblong, the journal we run together, was Dinner Chicken.
Dinner Chicken. Oh. Because I never heard the phrase. Winner dinner chicken?
No, winner chicken dinner.
Okay. You said that to me and I was so tickled. I was beyond tickled.
You were flabbergasted. No,
I was completely taken aback.
A few years after we became friends, we decided to like just try to take on some projects together. I think because our poems were so like our friendship was so generative for our art too, that we were like, let's run with that and see what happens. So we started the journal kind of like because we had such a similar aesthetic of things we liked. In terms of like our Tumblrs and our porn Tumblrs and our just like general like thing, you know, all around the board, we really like just liked a lot of the same things.
Tumblr.
Well, I know.
Yeah, my heart breaks constantly.
It's so weird to have like that level of nostalgia for a website.
It's inappropriate,
but it's real. Yeah.
But then, how did we start GESUNDHEIT?
Well, we started trying to collaborate. Emphasis on trying.
Collabs.
Just over like email, we would like try to send lines or stanzas back and forth, and we'd try to continue off of what the other person said. So sort of like an exquisite corpse experiment, but just with two people. It really didn't work initially. we didn't mesh, even though like our tastes are similar, right? As Sam just said, we like a lot of the same things, but something about our styles, our thought process just didn't click. But we're just so excited to do it. It was just so much fun still. And I think that's like such a key ingredient for all of this is like, it's okay if you mess up, you're messing up together. And that's still really fun, right? Like we still had such a blast trying to collaborate for a while. And then, yeah, the chapbook went through like similar stages where we were just so excited to be working on it together. But the first like couple drafts of it, like iterations of it, really didn't make any sense. It was just like, here's some like silly poems. Some goofy stuff is going on in both of them. But there was no real like connective thematic thing going on. So that took a while to discover and figure out.
Well, I think we like started with like a lot of poems that we thought of each other and like poems that I'd written that made me think of you, and I think vice versa too.
Yeah.
But then I think what changed
is going to be a theme.
Right. What also changed was that we realized that we do really write well together, but we have to do it like in person or like on the phone. We can't do it
face to face. Yeah, it can't happen right now. We need to see the expressiveness has to be there.
Because we also like are really good while we're writing it at like mixing each other's lines, being like, no, not that one. Actually, try again. You know? So we do a lot of the poems that we've collaboratively written, we do line by line, like one Chen, one me. But I think when we're in person, Chen, more Chen is able to be like, no, Sam, try again, you know?
I try to be a little more decisive about it, but it's really fascinating because it's really like, I feel so comfortable. Like there's so much trust in our shared process. And yeah, I don't know if I could be like that with another poet, just going line by line and feeling and just trusting that like something amazing is going to come out of that, or just at least fun for us, right, to read. But I really have complete faith in that.
That is absolutely beautiful. This whole conversation is amazing. I think this is a perfect transition to go and see like a poem of both of y'all sharing that, right? This beautiful connection and how you work together by doing a poem together.
Yeah, I don't know if folks are ready for the beauty of this.
I'm gonna take myself and Hercshel out of here to let y'all just shine in these next moments.
Yes.
This oh my god, yeah. Because this is very much based on when we met, right? Because part of that writing retreat, one day we got to go to Smith College and look at some of like Sylvia Plath's archives.
Yeah, the Rare Books Room.
Yeah, and the Rare Books Room. And his beautiful space. There was this lovely typewriter.
We walked in.
Yes.
There was a typewriter. And I walked up to the typewriter and I typed in P-O-O-P. I was like, I typed poop on the typewriter, you know? And then the woman came in and she was like, sit down, everyone. And then she pointed to that typewriter and she was like, this was Sylvia Plath's college typewriter. And I immediately wrote a note to Chen. I was like, I just typed poop on that typewriter. And we laughed like so hard.
You're just a part of literary history now with that typed sheet. That's great. I also just wanted to mention, this poem is published on this wonderful new journal called Dear, Poetry Journal, D-E-A-R. And the idea is that all the poems are like dedicated to someone or something. And the journal's also run by, friends of ours, friends of Underblong. So shout out to them as well.
All right, this is called Now More Than Ever, We Are in a Moment of Time for Sylvia Plath's Typewriter.
Thou moppest the way I wish to be mopped.
Slinking along the floor like a wet turtle.
Oh, wet sound, oh, wet look.
Just before, in a happier time, we grated cheese.
Who knew such harmony could be harnessed via long shreds of cheddar?
Who knew that 6 years ago, in Massachusetts,
two young gays would collide before Sylvia Plath's typewriter?
Upon which one of the young gays ceremoniously typed poop.
Who knew if Sylvia Plath's typewriter had ever received such scatological messages?
In my sweet December exhaustion, let me recline and recall these faggy serendipities.
These genre-defying shit jokes.
Oh, wet look. Oh, wet sound.
That was amazing.
I believe we nailed that last line. We did a very quick rehearsal before.
Very fast. There was a few parts where we were like, are we breaking here? But we did. We made it work.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I think, that there's an air of humor in a lot of both your work, right? And not just in the surface level kind of way, but more of it feels like intrinsic, despite the fact, maybe because of the fact that y'all tackle such heavy concepts, right? Even writing poop on Sylvia Plath's typewriter. I guess, why is that?
Why is that? Yeah, combination.
I have an answer for this right away. Chen once said to me on the phone, he was like, the people that are the most funny are the most sad.
Oh.
Yeah, I really think there is, if you just look at comedians, for instance, I think there is like a strong link, right, between comedy or having to use humor as a coping mechanism, as a defense mechanism, but also, as a way to form bonds, right? So again, with friendship, with community, humor is like a huge part of that for me, definitely. And I think, like there's a certain kind or certain types of queer humor, right? Playfulness that, just immensely important to me. And I think, it's very much related to various serious subjects. Because I'm like, how do you survive and how do you keep going, really, unless you can, find ways to play with it, right? And to transform it. Or even just to sit with it, right? But in a way that doesn't destroy you.
And I love that you use the word play, because I do think that our work is both very playful. And I do think that I think play is like what I believe in as like my queer ethos for the world. I don't know. I just think that like I need to be always allowed to like have fun and try things and like try things that don't work and then like try new things and to be able to play with language and with words is such an incredible way to do that. And that is kind of what poetry has like offered to me.
I mean, like as a queer person, as a person of color, like I have to believe that the world is changeable in some way.
Yeah.
It has to be malleable. It can't be a fixed thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to like exist fully, right? So I have to believe that, I can play with things. I can shift things. Yeah.
Otherwise, you will be crushed.
Yeah.
The overwhelming sense of doom that is this world. I feel that hard. Let's talk about queer life.
Yeah.
A little bit. I just a quick look into y'all's Instagram, and we quickly see that you both are very open about your bodies in a way that is very celebratory.
Oh my God.
and also like an act of reclamation, right? Especially like when queer culture has for so long just been like, this is the body type, this is the skin tone, this is the cut, like this is what is acceptable and what we find attractive, right? And as someone that like grew up in a very Catholic, conservative Latina household that is still trying to unlearn the paradigm that is patriarchal modesty, I really appreciate it. Can you all talk about that a little bit?
This question is a delight. I don't know if you've ever been asked that simultaneously. So thank you for this opportunity to shed light on a very important issue in our community.
Yes.
Wow, body image, and social media.
Hashtag Tumblr porn.
Yeah.
Hashtag Tumblr porn.
Hashtag RIP.
Don't make me cry again.
That's maybe the most emotional thing in this whole conversation. Yeah, I mean, I grew up, I think like many queer kids, kind of hating my body, and also feeling really uncomfortable in it, and just like dissociating a lot from like bodily existence. Although I would say, like, looking back on it, like maybe like early childhood, because I used to like play outside all the time. I've become such a like indoor person now. But I feel like, yeah, very early on, I was much more like comfortable, right, in my body and just like very physical. And I sort of retreated, I think, for a while. I withdrew from the bodily realm, because I felt like I didn't meet any sort of norms or standards, or if like I did, it was very like fetishized, right, and racialized, and always, very like white cis male centering, right, when it came to body image. So it's taken a very long time, and I would say that I'm still like unlearning a lot of that, because it really gets internalized, I think, in some very harmful ways. So like throughout like my teenage years, like into college, it's also just dating white boys who are not very great. And so it led to, I think, a lot of self-hatred, to be perfectly honest. And so I think some ways that's, I've been able to work on that over the years, is through poetry, for one, but also through selfies, through taking like images of myself, right, and feeling kind of more in control of that, I guess, but also like friends, and like seeing how other people like in my community like see me and how we see each other. And I just remember, just quickly, a story when I attended the Kuntiman retreat, which is for Asian American writers. I just remember like how much we were all complimenting each other and like hyping each other up, and it was so liberating, just to like talk about like how beautiful we were, like in that context and outside of like certain Eurocentric standards of beauty, right? And just all kind of body types. So yeah, that was amazing to experience.
Wow. You answered that question so well. I'm like, what could I even add to that? Do I need to say anything? I mean, I'm naked on my Instagram a lot because
because Tumblr is dead.
Because Tumblr's dead.
Yeah, you got to work with what you have.
And I too, yeah, like really hated my body and myself. And I think like also like, yeah, being in a major city like Chicago for a lot of years as you're like coming into tune with your queerness and seeing this like very intensely rigid white gay capital of like all the queer spaces that I've ever been to and how much they run everything and show up at everything and like form these big groups and everything, and just feeling so like outside of that, I guess, and not like wanting to be a part of that and not wanting all the queer spaces I was in to look like that, which like they really want to all be with people exactly like them. I think, yeah, my friends and I just started to like take pictures of each other and plan a lot of photo shoots and try to do things to like showcase us how we are, to like uplift each other. I mean, I really think that's like what it was. I mean, we were like, most of the pictures on my Instagram are like pictures of my friends and I taking of each other to like try to like just to support each other and be like, look, you are like really beautiful and like valid how you are. So that's my small thing to add because you really kicked that one out of the park, Chen. Good job.
No, I think it's so beautiful the way that y'all definitely describe like these queer platonic friendships, right? And there's so much intimacy and pleasure and eroticism, right, within these platonic queer like dynamics. And I guess, you know, I think both Pisces and Scorpios are magical. So I just kind of want to know like what in yourself do you find magic, right? What can be within yourself, your sign, your poetry.
My God, before we did this interview, Chen and I both texted each other, "You are magic," like right before this started.
I'm so moved. I was just thinking, I wanted to mention going to the Korean spa together.
Oh yeah.
Which is a magical place. So sort of connecting like the body question and this one, maybe. Yeah, we've been like twice together. And it's just like beautiful. I mean, it's super relaxing to like be in the water, but it also, yeah, it takes like a bit like this degree of like comfort, right, in our bodies, but also with one another, because you're naked in the space for like a long period of time. You spent a long time there.
Naked for like hours.
Yeah. But it was like such a like, yeah, transformative experience, really. And to like get to do that together, right? And like be in that space and be in our bodies. What was the question again?
I just feel like
What magic?
Yeah, magic.
Yeah. What do we feel is magic? I mean, because I also love that we can eat there. So like sort of food court part of the spa.
It is delicious too.
So yeah, I guess like how we both really care about like each other's well-being. Thinking about this. Where like there's this part of me that I feel like I'm turning into my mom a bit because I'm just like asking people in my life, like, oh, like have you eaten? Like have you gotten enough water? Like how are you in your body? Right. And really like prioritizing that. So I feel like that's become like a magical thing, is really caring about that each other. Yeah.
Which is funny because that's like the community care element, I think, is just something that I held onto really young and have had for a lot of years. And I think it's something that like you learned a lot from me, but then what I learned a lot from you, which is what I'm feeling like is making me magic lately, is like taking care of people and also making sure to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Which is something I feel like I never understood the first thing about before I met you or knew how to do in any way. So to like prioritize what I love and to like go after the things that I care about and to build up such a better version of me, which then also makes me able to like support the people around me and be with the people around me so much better also. In such a like profound way. Like how much I bettered myself has just dramatically improved how incredible I am in my relationships as well, and in my connections and my friendships.
Yeah, prioritizing your own dreams.
Yeah.
I'm so, just so ecstatic to see you doing that. Yeah.
And that's the magic that I've been holding on to lately.
I love it. Okay. I'm gonna do it. I had a question about academia that I was like, no, we're not going to answer. We're not going to ask this. This is such a beautiful place to end it.
Yes.
So let's just end it there. You know, Sam, you're about to embark on this new journey. Chen is about to teach a whole nother semester. Raqui is doing whatever she's doing in academia, so we don't have to talk about it. I want to end on the magic. So let's put a pin in that and sit with it. And I would love it if you guys could just kind of like bring us home with like one more poem each.
Yeah. Chen and I always do this thing when we read where we like have to read something really new. Or I force myself to do that. I feel like you do that too.
Yeah, sometimes.
So this is like the newest thing I've written. You go first, actually.
I'll go first. Yeah, this isn't super new. It's from my next book, which feels weird still to say. And it's called Spring. 75 degrees, and we're 3 ready for this queers in the most flattering shorts. 3 queers ordering too much ramen or just enough, who can say? 3 queers and a FedEx ready to print poems for a long overdue queer salon. 3 queers drinking definitely too much coffee. 3 queers and I'm the one visiting for just the weekend, so let's stay up talking. I mean, have I told you yet about going to my omelet place for lunch the other day and this guy overheard? How I was in the middle of eggy arugula bliss when he said, bisexual, all slow like that, to another guy, as though it were a new type of omelet. Or is it even? Let's ask the waiter. Did I tell you how he went on? That's what Sarah told us yesterday. And the other guy clicked his tongue like, I'm sorry to hear. And the first guy said, bisexual, quickly this time, quieter. She must have heard it on TV from her friends, you know, she's only 14. And then he sighed, only 14, already deciding to ruin her life. And then I almost said, what the fuck are you saying? Almost leapt out of my chair to ask the other guy, why the fuck are you fucking nodding? But I didn't. I got scared. No, not of them, of my hands, how my hands had curled into fists. 3 queers remembering, but you're only 14. 3 queers talking about last week. 3 queers feeling like 20, drinking ever more coffee, telling sleep to go bother the straights. 3 queers staying up until late becomes early.
Chen!
That was great.
I should have gone first. I can't go after that. Are you kidding?
It's been great.
With this like weird new poem. Oh god.
Weird new poem.
Weird new poem. Bring us home, weird new poem.
Aww. This is a weird new poem. This is the most recent thing I've written. This is a poem I wrote for this project that's called The Bait and Switch, where they like, I'm just gonna talk about this for a second. It's really cool. They like work with all these different artists, and they like they started with a dancer, and they send them a prompt, and the dancer makes something, and they send that to like a painter, and then the painter makes something, and then they send that to like a photographer, and it keeps going around, and it got to me. And it was this weird image that this person took. And so I wrote a poem, and then my poem is going to someone else to be part of the prompt. So I think that's cool. That's why I wanted to read this. So this is called Try Putting Your Dissociation on Display. Under machines, behind doors, deep in the dark. I was good at hide and seek as a kid. I've dissociated through entire weekends, weeks, my childhood. I stared at the computer screen, the TV screen, the Instagram feed so long, I thought my brain lost its curvy paths, spongy turns, turned to mush. Found a picture of myself from years ago at a weekend artist residency at a farm with a bunch of straight writers. and realized I don't have a single recollection from the entire weekend. Oh, your brain took care of that for you, my friend says when I bring it up. My brain is my best hiding place, even if I appear present, look presentable. I'm trying a new thing. Turtle Sam, hunched in a bunch on the floor. Arms and legs dribble out my lump of a body, curling in a flattened ball at the laundromat, at the gelateria in the parking lot, outside the Dollar Tree, a visual, sensational, mental disconnect. But this time, I'll show you. I'll let you all see me. Puddles and legs and hungry hair, my body, its shell. I'm used to hiding in my brain, but no one has ever been able to see me. Now I'm on my back, little arms flailing, my eyes wild and searching.
Oh,
Yay!
wow.
So good.
Oh, yours was amazing. Spring.
Oh wow. Thank you again, both of y'all. Like, this was so beautiful, so healing, and absolutely cute and magical. I love magical, like magic. Magic is my word. So I'm glad that it resonates with both of y'all as well. Yes, it was a huge delight and joy, right? To have you and share your words and share your friendship with us and the people who are listening and are watching y'all. So cannot say thank you enough. So if you can, please, can you tell people where you can find your work or where they can find you? I know that we had it up in our little scroll, but please go ahead. Tell us.
Well, first of all,
yeah,
I just want to say thank you to both of you for having such like a gorgeous friendship show and inviting us to be on it, and for asking such beautiful questions, like questions that I will sit with for a long time, and I'm really happy to have been asked. So thank you.
Thank you for this like abundance that you've just like showered us with. Thank you so much.
We will take all the abundance we can get. Okay? It is few and far between. So
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Sam for Breakfast because I'm for breakfast. And then my website is samherschelwein.com. And I was going to update it today and I didn't, but I'm going to update it this week.
And I am Chen Chen Writes on pretty much everything. Yeah. So thank you.
And that's that. Well, thank you guys both again for joining us. This has been phenomenal. And I can't wait to see what comes in the future from both of y'all. I know, Chen, you got projects already slated. Sam, I can't wait to see like what, is produced as you go through this journey that is the MFA world. So props to you on beginning that journey, and we will catch you all on the other side of this pandemic.
So in like 8 years.
Oh, yo!
I'm kidding. I didn't mean it. But
Oh God.
Y'all, if you aren't already, show some love in the comment section for Sam and Chen. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh, Raqui. I feel like this is happening. This is happening on a very consistent basis where like we finish these shows and we're just left with this, like overwhelming feeling of I didn't know I needed that, but damn, I needed that.
I feel like I keep like every single episode. I'm like, oh, this is amazing, and I'm like, how can next week top this? It keeps happening and happening. Like, again, I didn't know that I needed this, and oof, so many times I wanted to cry. So many times I wanted to hug everyone. It was truly, I think the word was just magical. So
it was truly magical. Well, I want to go spend some time with my friends at the Poetry Slam later tonight. So let's thank some people and get on out of here.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank the audience. thank you so much for coming and, checking us out every single week. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. So thank you for showing your support, for the love, either on social media or joining us here today or any other day. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't already, make sure you go and follow us on Instagram and Twitter so you can find out about all the amazing shows we still have left. We are Words and Shh on both Instagram and Twitter. So just, I'm going to figure out what our Twitter password is so we can start posting on Twitter again. But follow us in the meantime until then, because we do post.
Yes, we do. We're pretty active. And then you can also watch our past episodes and our past podcast episodes as well on YouTube and anywhere you can listen to your podcast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Once we get 100 subscribers on YouTube, I can change the damn URL. So we're working on that. But again, whether this is your first time or you've been with us before, come back next week. We are going to be here same time, same place. Oh, maybe not the same place.
Maybe not. Maybe first on this.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm saying it. We're putting it out in the universe. Raquel and I may be in the same place for the first time since we've started this show, and we'll be broadcasting together potentially. Mm-hmm. So, yay for travel. Yay for having an agent that books you gigs that take you across the country.
And yay for friends.
Yay for friends. I will take it. Next week, we are having an incredible writer, DC-based poet, activist, organizer, educator. Seema Reza is joining us on the show next week. So excited to have her on. So make sure you come back and join us next week. Until then, y'all, stay safe out there.
Yeah. Bendiciones.